Let's get reaction from TRT World's editor-at-large, Ahmed Alioglu. So Jared Kushner there acknowledged that there does need to be a political solution at some point that protects Israeli and Palestinian interests. But any political solution is not going to be discussed at this conference in Bahrain.
Actually, Shuli, it is very nice when listening to Mr. Jared Kushner as if you're listening to an entrepreneurship class for beginners. He is speaking about a conflict that has been in the Middle East for decades now. And he thinks that with these kind of plans that are not well prepared, that they are on the surface of it very sloppy, unprofessional, and completely forgettable, he is going to solve that long conflict between the Palestinians and the Israelis. We've been listening to these kind of plans, prosperity, economic factor, since the Oslo Agreement, when they promised Gaza to be turned into a Singapore of the Middle East. And later on in the Did Say Summit, when Kerry promised with a $4 billion on the table that there will be a major change for the Palestinians. But what we ended up as Palestinians, they ended up in siege, under siege in the Gaza Strip. It's a kind of a place that nobody can live in. The West Bank, it's completely under the control of the Israelis. David Friedman, the American ambassador, saying that he understands the annexation of the West Bank. With all these things on the ground, the credibility of Jared Kushner, who, by the way, he and his own family are big supporters of the settlements in the West Bank, there are lots of questions mark about the credibility of this man as a broker to a peace. And the most important, surely, is the politics. You cannot divorce the Palestinian cause between, you cannot divorce between economy and politics. They must come in tandem if you're sincere about finding a solution to that long-standing conflict.
Well, I mean, as far as this conference goes, I mean, is he trying to create a veneer of credibility? Because he's got the World Bank there, he's got the IMF there, donors, businesses, various Arab ministers. I mean, are the rest of the Arab world, I mean, important players like Egypt and Jordan, are they on board with this?
On the surface of it, surely you would be very happy with the faces you would say. You have Jordan in there, you have Egypt, you have Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Morocco, and as you said, the IMF, you have Tony Blair, as I've seen him. So lots of people are there. But the bride and the groom, the main stakeholders, the Israelis and the Palestinians, are not present. That's very ridiculous to speak about the fate of two people, and you're not inviting even them. Mohammed Shtaya, the Palestinian prime minister, in his interview with Christian Amanpour and New York Times, he said that the Palestinian Authority was not even invited to the conference. That's very kind of unacceptable, kind of completely disregarding a Palestinian partner. Who on earth is going to be the partner to carry out these plans on the Palestinian territories? If you're not inviting the Palestinian Authority, if you completely alienated the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, if you declared Hamas as a terrorist organization, who is your partner in the Palestinian people? Now, of course, on board he has Egypt and he has Jordan, who has been, especially King Abdullah, very reluctant to attend till the last moment. It seems that there are lots of pressure that have been put in him and Sisi, General Sisi. So it seems that there are other players on the ground. It's not the Palestinians who are going to decide on their own destiny. It's Egypt who is going to decide on Gaza, and Jordan who is going to decide on the West Bank. That's what known as the alternative homeland for the Palestinians. This is going to pass on the surface of it if the Palestinians accept it to pass. But with the resistance, with the complete reluctance among the Palestinians, I doubt that this plan is feasible, is applicable on the ground.
OK, so some of the things they're talking about are these projects which they say will unleash the economic potential of Palestinians. For example, opening up the West Bank and Gaza to regional and global markets, upgrading and constructing essential electricity, water, telecommunications infrastructure, promoting private sector growth, entrepreneurship, small businesses. Are there any new ideas here? And are these ideas that can work?
They're all, surely, to be honest, they're all old ideas that we've been hearing since the Oslo Agreement in 1993. You know, the corridor, the only thing that Jared Kushner can do and let this prosperity becomes true is just to ask the Israelis to lift their hand, to lift their siege on the Gaza Strip and allow the corridor between the West Bank and the Gaza Strip that has been promised since the Oslo Agreement. Since the time of Bill Clinton, later Bush, and later the Obama administration, they all tried this. And this brings us back to the main controversy of the Donald Trump administration and mentality. He believes that it's the businessman who can solve these problems. It's not the statesman. To be honest, on the ground, the Palestinian cause does not need a businessman. It needs a real leader who is a sincere broker between the Palestinians and the Israelis, would practice more pressure on the Israelis and ask them for a price for the concessions that the United States is making now by relocating the embassy from the Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, by cutting all the aid on the UNRWA, the United Nations, that helps the Palestinian refugees in Gaza, West Bank, and neighboring countries. This is not any sign of a fair and a impartial broker to peace. And with these business deals, I don't believe that that's what the Palestinians are looking for. The Palestinian cause is more a political cause rather than an economic or a humanitarian cause. Even if you turn it to a Singapore of the Middle East, with one kind of disagreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians, Israel can easily demolish every business and enterprise, everything that the Jared Kushner is speaking about. This oasis of the Middle East can be destroyed if the Israelis are not happy with the Palestinians on the ground. Who can control them?
Ahmed, thank you very much indeed for that. Ahmed Alioglu there.